Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm here because it is Nonfiction November. Okay, well, it's almost November. We have like 3 days. For those of you who are not familiar, I will link Olive's original video below, but for I believe the past 4 years she's been hosting Nonfiction November. Kind of prompts it, and she has like some of the reading prompts if you want to participate in that, but she has a whole video explaining all the ins and outs. So this video is really just to give you guys my TBR. I am following some of the reading prompts, and let's just get into it, I guess. So the first one is Pastime or Pastime, and one of the books that I really been saying that I wanted to read. Actually, you know, whenever something makes the Oprah's book club, you know, list, you want to read it anyways. Well, at least I do. And this was one of the ones that had made the list that stood out to me, and it's The Sun Does Shine. And this is actually the true story of Anthony Ray Hinton, who spent 30 years wrongfully incarcerated. And I mean, like, when I think of time, like, I'm like, that literally is all the time that I've ever had in this world. Like, he spent more time in prison than I've spent breathing. Like, that's insane to believe. So, you know, he was incarcerated in 1985 and released in 2015. And this kind of just journeys like his time that was spent there. And I'm just really interested on knowing like how it came to be that he was wrongfully incarcerated and remained incarcerated, and what did he make out of his life while he was in prison wrongfully. Like, this might be a tough read for me, but I mean, it's gotten so many amazing reviews, and it's just something that I really want to read. So the next one is Self or Shelf, and I actually went with both of these. I couldn't choose. So for Shelf, I was thinking of the book that has been on my TBR shelf for the longest. It's Jesmyn Ward's Men We Reaped. It's a memoir, it's her memoir. Like, Jesmyn Ward has become my favorite writer, like, if not my favorite writer. I've been following some of like her interviews and also like her articles, all the books that she's written that I've read, I have absolutely loved. And this is one of the ones that I have not yet read, and I wanted to. You know, she's written Salvage the Bones. Last year, or actually earlier this year, is when I read Sing Unburied Sing, and that was like one of my favorite books this year of me reading. And I mean, I also got The Fire This Time, which, you know, she collected those stories. And I mean, it's just, she's such a great writer, and I just love her thought process. And she talks about being raised in Mississippi a lot, and how that Southern experience, specifically Mississippi, in being in a kind of being in a state where you're disenfranchised individuals, and like, you know, that struggle. She puts a good haunting and a good voice to those stories, and her words are just so beautiful and just so poetic, and I feel everything that she writes. So this is something that has been on my shelf for the longest, and I'm so excited to crack this baby open. This is probably the book that I'm the most excited to read this month. So that goes for Shelf. Now the other half of that was Self. So as far as Self, I decided to go with Questlove's Creative Quest. This book, look at it, like the cover is so cute. And this is basically like his guide of living your best creative life. So this is like for Self for me, because expressing myself creatively and learning on how I can continuously express myself, and have like, even with this Booktube channel, like that's one of my outlets and like one of my things. And I don't know, like on the back of this is an excerpt that really made me want to read it. It was, very few people have been at the nexus of so many diverse points of creative excellence as Questlove. His mind is literally a galaxy of stars. Galaxy of stars, your mind. Like, that visual is just already wow. In this book, we witness the astronomer mapping the constellations, reminding us to keep our heads to the sky and remember that our greatest gifts are hiding in plain sight. So that's just one excerpt written out on the back of it, and I don't know, it's just so, I love it. And then also I actually have this pick, this Afro pick, or hair pick, so that's kind of cool. And I'm really excited. I don't know what to expect. I actually haven't read any reviews or heard anybody who read this who liked this, but this came out this year, and yeah, if I really like it, I will probably purchase to own this. Okay, so the next prompt is Wonder or Wander, and I went with Wander. And for Wander, I went with The Girl Who Smiles Beads, and it is a memoir. The author or the writer, she spent 6 years wandering, like just wandering about 7 different African countries. So, and it's like her journey of basically being a young girl, navigating that, and all of the atrocities that came with this. So yeah, this should be a very interesting read. I'm really, really excited to read this. The next prompt is micro and macro, and for this, I chose Freedom is a Constant Struggle, and this is by Angela Davis. And I actually don't have the physical book, but my hold is up, so I'm picking that up tomorrow, which I'm excited about. But this actually is like a 2-for-1. So micro, I couldn't decide if it was on a micro or macro level, but a series of essays and interviews and a collection of different things, and it's touching the topics of oppression on a micro and macro level. So that fit perfectly with this whole prompt. Aside from that, myself, like probably a lot of people are anticipating for Michelle Obama's Becoming to come out. I already have like the pre-order for that, so I'm excited with Barnes & Noble, so that's another nonfiction that I will be reading this month. And also Well-Read Black Girl. It's an anthology, so it's like a collection that's coming out also this month, so I will also be reading that. I'm sure I'll be reading a few things here and there in between to break up all of this nonfiction. I'm not one of those people who could just read probably 20 nonfiction books back to back to back, although I love nonfiction, so I probably will be throwing in a little fiction in there, but these are the books that I'm focusing on for this month. So weird, if you see the lighting is changing, it's because I'm using natural light and the sun is setting, so sorry about that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please, 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 I would love to hear your thoughts on them. And also let me know what you're planning on reading for this month, and if you are reading any nonfiction. Like feedback if you guys are loving it or not. Anyways, love and light, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.